I think it's gonna be distracting. I'm gonna want to watch this.
So we.
Eventually I will, yes.
Thank you.
You want me to put the office on? I'd be
Well,
happy.
no, but,
You put
Instead of the, hey,
professional
Madam
football.
Chair, you
Yeah.
can call the meeting to
Okay.
order.
you're in.
It's already recording and unmuted.
I'm gonna bring this regular town council meeting to order. Today is Thursday, June 26th. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call?
You may, Councilor Bragdon.
Currently absent, or
Or he doesn't miss them. Chair Danforth,
here.
Councilor Dume,
Here,
Councilor Higgins,
Present via Zoom.
thank you. Councilor Mackin,
Here.
Councilor McClellan. Here. And Councilor Pelletier,
here.
thank you.
Please join us with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we do have adjustments to the agenda. There's an update on order number 152. I think their new orders, their copies in the front, and the counselors should have theirs.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. Seeking approval of minutes from 9/12/24 and 6/12/2025.
So moved.
Again, motion made by Councilor Dume, seconded by Councilor McLaughlin. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, we'll have to do roll call since we have Councilor Higgins on Zoom. We'll start. Councilor Pelletier, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin?
Aye.
Councilor Dume?
Aye.
Councilor McLaughlin?
Aye.
And Councilor Higgins on Zoom?
Aye.
And Chair Danforth, aye, that passes 6-0. This, we have no unfinished business. This takes us into special presentations. Councilor McLaughlin, can I have you read resolve number 3, please?
Certainly. Resolve number 3-2025. A resolution honoring Brady Brooker for receiving the Town of Millinocket Scholarship. Whereas Brady Brooker has been selected as a recipient of the Town of Millinocket Scholarship in recognition of his exceptional dedication to community service and his meaningful contributions to the youth and residents of Millinocket. And whereas Brady Brooker has volunteered for over 100 hours with the Little Giant football program, beginning his service as a freshman and growing into a trusted youth coach for both the Little Giants Flag Football League and the Tackle Football Program, where he played a vital role in teaching fundamentals, promoting teamwork, and inspiring a love for the game in Millinocket's youngest athletes. And whereas Brady has shown exemplary leadership and commitment, continuing his volunteer efforts even after his own practices, working one-on-one with players on safe techniques, running game operations, and supporting the growth of Stearns High School athletics by investing in the next generation. And whereas in addition to his volunteer service, Brady has contributed to the town through his employment with the Millinocket Recreation Department, rising from lifeguard to head lifeguard and skating rink manager, where he developed strong leadership, communication, and problem-solving skills while serving the public in a professional and community-centered role. And whereas Brady Brooker has demonstrated unwavering dedication to the town of Millinocket and emerged as a positive role model and mentor for young students and peers alike. Now therefore be it resolved that the Millinocket Town Council in council assemble on June 12th, 2025, does hereby recognize, honor, and congratulate Brady Brooker for his outstanding service to the community and for being awarded the 2025 Town of Millinocket Scholarship in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor McLaughlin, seconded by Councilor Dume. Council comment on this order? Council comment? Any public comment on the order? Yes, Councilor McLaughlin.
Well, I just want to say I was very pleased to hear that Brady received one of these scholarships. I know Brady very well. I work with his mom at the school. He definitely is a leader amongst the student body. He was also chosen for the MPA Principals Award, which is based on leadership and community service. So I think he's a great young man, and congratulations, Brady.
Thank you, Council McGowan.
Yeah.
Any other council comment?
Well,
Council
I'd like to
Pelletier?
I'd just like to thank Brady for his commitment to the community and all the great work, and hope he continues.
I think this resolution says a lot about you, and we're just very proud of you and proud to be able to present you this proclamation and the scholarship. And I will have Council McGowan be in the picture with you. You and your family would come up front.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Council.
you going to have any public comment?
I went to public comment and nobody,
And then can I?
please,
Say-
absolutely, Mr. Manager.
Brady is a fantastic and smart young man who is destined for a great future. My wife and I, we trust him with our children. He had a role in teaching them both how to swim and keeping them safe at the swimming pool. He is one of very few young people in the community who have approached me directly about possibilities for advancement in their roles, advancement in their careers. And I think that knowing that he's turning down to play football at Maine Maritime Academy to focus on studying so that he knows the stuff and knows the field well enough to get good grades and graduate and pursue that as a career. He's got a really bright future, and I'm really proud of you, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Is there any other public comment? All right, before we do go for a photo, I will take a vote of the council. All those in favor of this resolve, Councilor Higgins,
aye,
Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin,
Aye.
Councilor Dume.
Aye.
Ms. Wallen,
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, it passes 6-0. Please come forward. I will get other.
Get the rest of those, yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you. So that takes us to our next special presentation, our resolve number 4. And are you, Councilor Dume, can I have you read resolve number 4?
Yes, Madam Chair. Resolve number 4-2025. A resolution honoring Blake Campbell for receiving the Town of Millinocket Scholarship, whereas Blake Campbell has been selected as a recipient of the Town of Millinocket Scholarship based on her exceptional commitment to community service and her positive contributions to the Town of Millinocket. And whereas Blake Campbell has volunteered countless hours since middle school to support the Millinocket community, most notably through her longstanding dedication to Studio One Dance and Acrobatic Center, where she has taught dance and acrobatics to local youth since 6th grade, helping children learn discipline, self-expression, and confidence through the performing arts. And whereas Blake Campbell has further demonstrated her community spirit by volunteering at Little League baseball games, working in concession stand, learning valuable life skills, and supporting younger players, including her brother, in a way that combined family and service. And whereas Blake has generously given her time at school and community events, including serving at a cheer competition hosted at Stearns High School, assisted visiting teams and guests, and distributing programs and helping organize seating at the 2022 Stearns High School graduation ceremony, ensuring the event was welcoming and meaningful for graduates and families alike. And whereas Blake Campbell has shown through her actions that community service strengthens the bonds of small towns and builds opportunities for connection, growth, and leadership. Now therefore be it resolved that the Millinocket Town Council and Council assembled on June 12th, 2025, does hereby recognize, honor, and congratulate Blake Campbell for her outstanding dedication to the community, Millinocket community, and for being awarded 2025 Town of Millinocket Scholarship in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Council Dume, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Any council comment on this resolve? What, yeah, Councilor McLaughlin.
I also know Blake, not as well as I know Brady, but working at the school, I have a privilege of getting to know these young adults, and she's always been kind. She does very well academically. She's very quiet, so it's hard to get to know her, but although she has spoken quite a bit more this year, just an all-around great student and a great person, so congratulations, buddy.
Yeah, Councilor Pelletier.
Well, I'd also like to thank Blake for her contributions to the community and to the fields that were mentioned. My daughters who dance and cheer, and it's nice to see that somebody volunteers for that. Thank you for your great work, and please keep it up.
Any public comment? Yes, Mr. Manager. Thank you.
I happen to know Blake quite well. And she makes me incredibly proud. She has been a student of mine at the Studio One Dance Center for a long time. I've watched her grow as a dancer, as a tumbler, as a student, as a community member, and now that she's about to graduate high school, you know, and head into an entrepreneurial. It's wonderful to see somebody with a vision of the future, and growth and personal well-being, to come out of this school system and go off into the world. She's meant a great deal to our family over the past few years, and is one of the sweetest and kindest individuals that I think we have here in the town. Good luck and congratulations.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Come to the mic. Yeah, please.
I'd like to congratulate Blake and Brady.
Your name,
know-
state your name, please.
Tom Malcolm, 53 School Street.
Uh,
You know, we hear a lot of talk in this community about our school and quality we have in our schools and kids in the community. You know, it's no different than it was 50 years ago. Okay, you got kids, but these two, well, all of the applications that we had for scholarship are just outstanding. These two really bring you to tears to read their essays and realize how much this community means to them. You know, we're all getting up there, so it's not our community, it's their community. And to see the pride that they have in it just is really heartwarming. Congratulations, thank you both.
Without further ado, we'll take a vote on this order. All those in favor of resolve number 4. We have Councilor Higgin,
Aye.
Council McLaughlin, Council Pelletier,
Aye.
Council Mackin,
Aye.
Council Dume.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, that passes 6-0. And I would like to have you come up and have a photo taken with Mr. Manager. Would you do that? I'll take your picture. I think you need to present that too. Or get out your camera
I want it on record that I was absolutely not on the committee that reviewed and reported these. She said, I apologize. Okay. Well, I'm late. You wanna-
Just in case people's connections.
So that takes us into our next part of our special presentation. Diana Kurokawa, Director of the Library, is going to do a quarterly update for us.
Sure is. And with the technical failure of the projector, it is wonderful that Diana is so on top of it that she sent her presentation in ahead of time. It is in the council packet. You can follow along in that method.
Just gonna pull up my slides for anyone who is on Zoom really quick, and I'll jump into it. All right, so this is my quarterly presentation, just an update on our operations and programs. I'll touch on facilities briefly as well, on how our budget is performing so far this year, almost halfway through our fiscal year. And lastly, I did want to touch a little bit on the contract between the library and the town that's on the agenda tonight and provide a little bit more context about that from the library's perspective. So, let's see. Starting with programs. So far in 2025, we've had 170 programs for all ages, which is pretty exciting. It's almost, I think it's more than a program every day that we've been open this year. And those are really for, you know, from toddlers all the way to our seniors. We've had almost 1,000 program participants. It was 900 when I made the slides, and now it's actually over 1,000. So really seeing widespread participation in those. And an area where we're also seeing increased usage is community meetings. We've had 82 community meetings so far with almost 600 community meeting participants. And those are external groups. We have a lot of AA groups. We have our diabetes prevention class, town committees and local boards, local Republicans group. So really any group that wants to use our space, we try to make it as easy as possible for them to use that facility. And I'm glad to see increase that. Moving in on our adult programs, some of our focus areas this year have been on wellness and social connection, as well as learning and connection to place. So the keyword being connection. And I did want to underscore some exciting new programs we have on the wellness front. We've been able to partner with a local yoga instructor, Tori Gray, to do chair yoga, which has been super well attended. We've had about 12 to 13 people each week, and we have a full wait list of another 12 to 13 people that want to do it. And so we're hoping to be able to offer that twice a week pretty soon. The other adult programs that we've offered recently have included business planning workshops. We brought in a group called Coastal Enterprises, Inc., and they did 2 super hands-on workshops for local folks who want to start a business, particularly creative entrepreneurs. So that was a cool one to see. I also got to teach a graphic design workshop, which is something I'm really passionate about. And then our resource-based programs, where we really bring in a group like Efficiency Maine or Wabanaki Public Health, both local and these statewide groups that need a platform to reach people locally. For youth programs, just a few that I'll touch on. We had our vacation camps again this year in partnership with the Outdoor Sport Institute, which were a success and provide meaningful childcare for folks, for parents in the community during those breaks. We have our Nature Littles group. So that group meets every month or so, and they do place-based learning. This month they actually got to go to Jerry Pond and do stuff, get very muddy. They got very muddy. They got magnifying glasses and they were looking at frogs and all kinds of critters there. So that was really cool. And I think that emphasizes a way that, our mission really strives to go beyond the walls of the library. It's about, providing the support, marketing, the insurance, that scaffolding necessary for someone to take their idea and make it a reality. So let's see, other stuff in terms of youth. Our summer reading program kicked off on Friday. We had some great programming, again, working with program partners like 4-H. They came up from Orono. We had National Monument doing place-based learning stuff, and Pinquist Family Connections as well. That was a blast. The kids got to play around with fish guts, which I guess was really fun for them and a little stinky. And we have a whole slate of things coming up for the kids this summer. In addition to that, we also are offering summer lunch again. So we are a site for that in the community. Last summer, we distributed over 600 summer lunches. And I expect it to be a little bit lower this year because the time frame was cut down. I think that was at the federal level that happened. So, yeah. Lastly, I wanted to highlight an event that is coming up next Saturday, July 5th. I guess Saturday after next. We are having a 10th anniversary celebration. And a lot of people have said, wait, I thought you've been around a lot longer than that. And we have. We were founded in 1919, but this is really celebrating the last 10 years of the library operating as a nonprofit and the transformation that has occurred during that time, the expansion of our program, our services, our resources, and our facilities. Our foundation occurred in 2020, and because of COVID, we never had a chance to open our doors back up and welcome people in. So you're all invited. I hope you show up. It'll be kind of just like a family fun event. We will have a few speakers, but really it's just a chance for the community and for any visitors that weekend to see the library as we are today. So moving on to operations. We have extended our hours again this summer. So we experimented with that last year. We're trying it again this year. So we're open until 8 p.m. Every Tuesday until the end of the summer. We have been seeing people utilizing that. Sometimes in Millinocket, it seems like it takes a year for people to get the hang of something. But I was just telling my board president, Ed, that this Tuesday we had teens playing Dungeons and Dragons in the basement. We had mahjong upstairs with about 15 older adults. We had an LGBTQ potluck on the patio, kids in the children's room. So it's really cool to see, even at 6 or 7 p.m., all these different groups across the age range able to use our space for different reasons. Secondly, on the operational front, we were able to complete an emergency plan back in the spring and train all our staff on it. I want to give a thank you again to Shelley Lane, John Cody, and other partners that provided a lot of really helpful advice in terms of developing that plan. And it's really been a 2-in-1. It includes a lot about our facility and how-tos, best practices, things to not do when issues come up, which I think will help prevent a lot of issues in the future. So, for facilities, last time you got to hear about our exciting sprinkler leaks. We have been able to pinpoint that issue, and it was just an issue with one sprinkler head caused by some loose insulation. So that, luckily, we've been able to file an insurance claim. We have to pay our deductible, but they have issued us a check for $6,900 to cover the rest of it. And that will be repaired shortly. So it could have been a lot worse, and wanted to share an update on that. We also were able to complete a patio and regrading project outside the library. So this has been a couple years in the making. The land outside the children's room has been regraded to slant away from the building, and that should help us with some of the leaks that have been occurring there. And then we added a patio, which really just expands the footprint of our space. It really leans into a lot of this place-based learning, the interest we're seeing in that, and doing outdoor activities as well. So I hope you come in and check it out the next time you're by the library. And just a reminder that was paid off grants, donations, and our capital reserves. You won't see it reflected in the operating budget. I'm going to move into the budget unless there were any questions on operations, programs, or facility. Okay. So as of the financials in your packets are as of the end of May. So that's about 41% of the way through our fiscal year. We're on a different fiscal year than the town. And on the whole, we've brought in 51% of the income that we were hoping to for the year. So we are ahead of schedule. And on the donation line in particular, I want to point out $55,000 is a much more ambitious goal than we've set in previous years. And as of this statement, we had brought in over 16,000 and have received an additional 10,000 since this report was created. So I'm feeling pretty hopeful that we'll actually be able to meet that ambitious goal, knowing that the bulk of our donations come in November and December. So that's exciting. On the grants line items, I wanted to mention, you'll see a debit under grants for employee retention credits. We were overpaid by the IRS back last year at some point for the employee retention credit program, and this is just the final payment to repay them for the overage. Under the Sewell Foundation, you'll see $100,000. So that's more than we had budgeted to receive from the Sewell Foundation. I applied for a 5-year grant and was successful in receiving $400,000 from them over the next 5 years. So it is a steady off ramp. It's 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, and then that is the end of the grant. And so it's pretty much the best case scenario that we could have received from them, and provides us a nice steady off ramp to plan and hopefully come up with other revenue streams for sustainability. Okay. Moving on to expenses. Nothing really to point out here in terms of collections and community engagement. Those are on track. For facilities under the building and repairs and maintenance line, I expect that to be over budget because of the sprinkler repair. We still had to pay $5,000 towards that, but hopefully the insurance claim, will help balance that out a bit. For administrative expenses, as I do every year, I'm just going to point out the asset management fees line for $32,000 is required for a financing scheme that financed our renovation, and that will be ending in 2026, thankfully. So that expense will no longer be there going forward after 2026. Great. A new expense you'll see under contracted accounting. We were able to sign a contract with Flaherty's Financial Services, which is a firm based in Southern Maine, to help with our bookkeeping and accounting. So you'll start to see that showing up on these statements. And I think that's just a really good move in terms of taking some of the data entry and the things that me and my staff aren't necessarily trained in, and taking that off our plates so we can focus on the things that only we can do. And they're probably a lot more efficient at it as well. So I'm personally excited about that one. For payroll, we are pretty much exactly on track for where we are in the year, bringing our net revenue to $25,947. I also wanted to note that as of yesterday, we have completed our 2024 Form 990. So that's like our tax return as a nonprofit, and our independent financial compilation. And those are posted on our website. We do that every year just for transparency. I think that's really important. So feel free to check them out. The public day as well, of course. And if anyone has questions, please ask. So if there are any questions on the budget before I move on. Okay, easy crowd tonight. Yep. Okay, so the town library contract. It's on the agenda tonight, so I just felt it was important to provide a little bit more context from our perspective about that. And before I dive into the contract being voted on tonight, I just wanted to provide a little bit of background information as well. I know this is repeat information for the counselors, but me and my board felt it was important for this to be on the public record, and just for the public to be a little bit more aware of this issue as well. And along those lines, we will be issuing some information, just having it available on our website for anyone who wants to learn more about this tomorrow. So as most of you know, the library was a town department until 2015, when we began operating as a nonprofit. This is pretty common for Maine libraries. 56% of Maine libraries operate as nonprofits and receive significant municipal funding. And over the past 10 years, the town has contributed on average 36% of our operating budget. So we've made up the rest with grants, donations, and earned revenue. In 2023, the town approved its first contract with MML, which was a 2-year contract for $125,000 in FY24 and $150,000 in FY25. And I just wanted to underscore how valuable it has been to us to have that agreement in place. It's helped us, especially with it being a 2-year contract, it's really helped us plan and anticipate and know what we can expect from the town. It outlines, as I'll get into, communication, lines of communication, so that you're hearing from me with quarterly presentations and monthly reports, and not just when we're asking for money. It's provided more accountability in terms of what services we need to provide. So we're just grateful for that foundation that it's been laid, and we hope to build on that this year and in future years as well. So the contract on the agenda tonight, as I was alluding to, it outlines both the library services and the community services that MML will provide for the next year, which include circulation and reference services, collections, both physical and digital, community programs for all ages, Wi-Fi, computers, and meeting rooms, printing services, and the facility itself being open a certain number of hours per week. It defines the relationship between the town and MML and our reporting requirements, and it is a 1-year contract in the amount of $150,000. So this is the same amount we received in FY25 and is the amount the council approved in the FY26 budget process. While we are very grateful for the relationship we have with the town, I do feel that, or our board feels that in the long term, we're going to need more municipal funding to be financially sustainable. The amount of funding that MML receives is a lot lower than most other comparable libraries in Maine. This is the graph I was really hoping to show to everyone here, but in 2024, for example, the town covered 40% of the library's operating expenses. Compare that to some other comparable towns like Skowhegan, 77%, Newport, 81%, Dover Foxcroft, 83%, Presque Isle, 96%, Lincoln, 97%, Caribou, 98%, and Pittsfield, 99%. And I apologize, those numbers are from 2023, but it was the most recent data available. So it's pretty unusual that we are being funded at such a low percentage. And while I'm really proud of what we've been able to bring in terms of external private funding, it's not sustainable for us to be bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars of that kind of funding in the long term. So our board is aware of this issue, and we believe that 60% town funding is a sustainable benchmark that would allow us to leverage being a nonprofit and what we can do with that, the grants we can write and the fundraising we can do, but also provides stability for us in the long term. So this year, our board advocated for a pathway to 60% funding over the next 5 years. Unfortunately, that proposal did not receive enough town council support to get on an agenda this year. I understand there are a lot of concerns with councilors that aren't necessarily about whether they do or don't support the library, but about the town financial situation in general. We understand that, but I just want to reiterate, like, our goal is still the same. We want to reach that 60% mark, and that feels sustainable to us. For a little context, just to zoom out, in 2011, when the library was a town department, we received $176,000. You adjust that for inflation, that would be $266,000 today. And by the end of this contract that we had proposed, it would be about $309,000. You know, that same level of funding that the 2011 library was receiving. So while we are asking for increases, we're also just trying to get back to the level of funding that we once had. A couple more points, then I'll stop. I've heard a few times, you know, from members of the council, from members of the public, like, the library is not as essential as fire or police, but I'm not trying to argue that it is. Fire and police and those services are really critical. But we're not asking for the level of funding that they receive. in FY 25, the town's contribution to the library was less than 1% of the town's entire budget. And I also think that we play a critical role in prevention. Like, just to name a few examples, if you have teens who have a space where they feel like they can go and just be themselves and belong, that leads to much better mental health outcomes. If you have seniors who are going to chair yoga and getting strong, that's falls prevention for other crises later on. If you have people connecting to heating assistance before they're in crisis, that's prevention for a whole slate of other issues, general assistance expenses later on. People can get cool or warm when we serve as a warming or a cooling center. That is crisis prevention. So as much as unfortunately people still tend to see libraries as a book place, like, we're your community center, we're your senior center. We provide visitor information to the amount of Baxter reservations that we print and maps we give out. We connect people to critical resources. We provide a computer lab where they can work on their resume. So it's much more than a book place these days. And my hope is that in the next year, we can really prove to you that this is a valuable investment and it's something that the community wants. So I'll leave it there, but if there are questions now or, later when the contract is discussed, I'm happy to address them.
Thank you, Diana. Any council comment? Councilor Pelletier, and then Councilor Domingue.
Just a comment, I really want to thank you for an outstanding, detailed and informative report. I think you've covered all of it. So, got your contract.
Thank you, Councilor Domingue.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a few questions and comments. I'll pose my questions now about the contract since you brought it up. I wasn't part of the 3-person counselor team that had delegations with you guys, so I'm not really versed on why a multi-year agreement wasn't struck. But that is unfortunate because I agree that multi-year does provide more of a foundation, like the 2-year one that we just got done with. In your perspective, why wasn't that come to fruition?
Yeah, so I will give that work group some credit. They did, there were discussions about a 3-year and then eventually a 2-year. However, language was being proposed to be added to those contracts that essentially said, as the budget allows, and to us, that didn't feel like a strong enough contract. It felt, like there's a big hole in it. And so we tried to propose stronger language that would define, what financial situation the town would have to be in to not follow through on that. And ultimately, I think that language was not perceived well, or maybe we didn't have enough chance to workshop that. So that's the kind of stuff hopefully we can chat about for next time.
And I think you personally, I think that other than a few financial things that I think that we've discussed in the past years that I've been a counselor, I respect the heck out of you. I think that you've done a tremendous job since the last administrator left. And if anything, you've always been open and honest since the first meeting that I had with you in that office of yours. There was something that here, maybe, no, actually that was in the contract itself. Like I said, I think that you've been forthright and honest in everything that you've asked for and everything that you don't hold any bones or pull any punches with what your requests are. I think it's admirable. So yeah, I think we have some work to do in the future to try to get you to where you need to be, and hopefully financially the town can help support that. That's all I have.
I don't see him with his hand out. Okay. Counselor Higginsburg, you.
No, I'm good.
They'll come back to me, and Diana, thank you so much for the presentation. You covered a lot of bases. I agree wholeheartedly with every single thing that you have said and how important the library is to the community as far as community health. Your community programs are invaluable, and we need to, from my seat here, we need to make a long-term commitment. Hopefully, come budget season next year, we can look at something going forward. I know I was on part of that member committee, and there was concern just currently about our tax base, and we want to see things the more secure, things happen on the mill site. But going forward, you have my support. I think it's important over time that we get up to that 60% level of town funding. Let's continue to work together on a path forward. Any other comment? Is there anything? Would you take questions from the public if they had questions?
Sure.
And would anybody like to come up to the podium? You?
Hi, Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. I beg to disagree with Diana in the fact that they are as important as the fire department and the police department. They offer many, many services above and beyond what a traditional, what I think of as a library. They do a fantastic job, and I think the town really needs to support them. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Let's take this into new business, and I believe there is a town manager's report included in our packet.
There is a town manager's report. In the
I
packet.
believe there is. It says none on. On
So
my-
the agenda
How did I
does,
not?
so the
I
agenda
apologize.
does say none, there is a report. It's about 35 pages long. And I will let the council know that it has been submitted, and I will expand on whatever topics within it you would like me to. But I will save you the time it takes to go through 35 pages of information, unless you request me to.
Right now, there's a lot of information here. Councilor Dumeay.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Manager, I read your report, and thank you for the in-depth in all departments and taking care of everything. I encourage the residents of the town to either read the hard copy or scan it online or something like that. But thank you for your report.
It is available in the manager's report archive on millinocket.org directly on the town manager's page. Madam Chair, I do see Councilor Higgins with his hand up
Okay.
on the screen.
Councilor Higgins.
Yes, good evening. I did read your report as well, Mr. Manager. I do want to say thank you to the Public Works up there on Peddler's Hill. Looks phenomenal. They've done a really good job up there. Then I just got one question. I was looking on the code enforcement permit summary. Down at the bottom of short-term rental, there was 6 year to date. Do we know how many we've actually got in town?
We are still running on the assumption of roughly 70. And 6 have registered thus far. I believe there are more in conversation or in communication. Is that safe to assume? No. That is incorrect. And we did, advise during that special hearing and adoption that our goal was throughout the remainder of the year to get as many registered as possible before revisiting the ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody from the public that sees the manager's report have a comment? Well, check with you, Madam Clerk. Is there anything that you need to make us aware? Sometimes you have an announcement or two. Is there anything there that we can know about?
Tax, the tax lien process did start today, the 30 are certified and sent out. I think that total that was in the report was just by a couple. So it's still high, but it seems a little lower this year. 170 tax amount, so if that was just by a couple of that they were certified, you know. So that was certified now. That's all that I had highlighted.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Manager.
I just feel like I want to expand on what she just said. You know, I was talking with the tax collector earlier today before these hit the mail, and I was told that had it not been for one individual account, one individual with many accounts, this could have been the lowest and best year on record for was well over 50, I believe, 60. An alarming number. So, you know, we that's an incredible thing for our town, in the grand scheme of things. You know, especially in the economic times that we're in and the cost of everything, it really says a lot. So that's good. I just wanted to share that.
Great. So we will move along. Thank you for your comprehensive report, and I encourage community members to read it. There's a lot going on, and all of the departments, I appreciate your reports as well. So that takes us to order number 147. Councilor Pelletier, may I have you read order number 147?
Certainly. Order 147-2025, providing for execution of the town warrant for June 26, 2025. It is ordered that the town warrant for June 26, 2025 in the amount of $176,993.77 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor McGuallan. Do you have some heavy hitters to share with us? Okay.
$4,059 Burns Insurance, Boyer and Nelson, the main pump station expense. $2,438.61 fire department. Like the fourth fire equipment and training. $3,025 Central Maine Pyrotechnics fireworks, 5th of July. $10,628.10 Part of Maine Construction CDBG cloud program, I imagine. $27,004.11 Industrial Protection Services. Fire ambulance equipment. No, that's the airport.
Yeah, that's the one above it, yeah.
That's the airport. $4,211.10. Fire department ambulance equipment. Infuse System Inc. $3,400. Windows in the municipal building. Why? $4,596.20 Main Resources Recovery Association. Public Works, the airport. $3,721.32 Municipal Waste Solutions. Boy, I hate it when I can't read my town office railing. I was prepared. $13,740.18 Northern Timber Cruise Inc. That's the grant expense for no. $2,105.05 EDQ Door Company, the office supplies, HR fund. $8,141.93 TV Mayor Engineers brownfield work for Medway Road and another street I can't read there. $55,510. Yeah, Wind Pine Automobile Club, more grant money. Trail, $13,940.05 for the city.
Yep. Any public comment? Back to the council for a vote on order number 147. All those in favor, let me see, Councilor Higgins on Zoom,
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin,
Aye.
Councilor Domingue, Councilor Ballin.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, passes 6-0. Councilor McGowan, can I have you read order number 148?
Order number 148-2025, providing for execution of the wastewater warrant for June 26, 2025. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for June 26, 2025 in the amount of $10,573.73 is hereby approved.
Motion made by Councilor McGowan and seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Do you have any others? Anything to share with us?
Only one, $8,841.67 to Versant Power Electricity.
Any public comment on the order? After the council for a vote, Councilor Higgins,
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin.
Aye.
Councilor Domingue,
Aye.
Councilor McGowan.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, passes 6-0. Councilor Mackin, can I have you read order number 149, please?
Order number 149-2025, providing for acceptance of the Stephen and Tempting Foundation grant. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council accepts this grant totaling $9,000 for a low-angle rescue program with no cost to the town of Millinocket. Note, these funds will provide the following for our fire department: low-angle rescue equipment, low-angle rescue personal protective equipment, and low-angle rescue training.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Mackin. I'll give it to Councilor Higgins on Zoom for the second. Any council comment on this order? Councilor Pelletier.
I just want to congratulate Chief for doing such great work, getting these grants, and been numerous, and it adds up.
Thank you. Any other council comment? Any public comment on the order? Chief is going to come forward. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm John Cody, Fire Chief, so I'd like to thank you guys for the support for this grant. This right here is gonna be well deserved for our area. This is gonna be the first program of any sort, so the closest program of anything like this would be coming either out of Old Town or Fire Department of Bangor. So having this resource locally right here in our community and also able to help out the neighboring departments and also Bachelor Fire is really critical for us in this area. So so we're looking at buying the equipment here as early as next week, and then getting the training program, which is probably a 3-day training program for all the full-time staff and any of the paid call members who like to attend as well. So and then we'll be able to get the equipment there placed on the truck, and we'll be ready to go after that. So I appreciate your support.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Thank you.
getting the training. I hope you don't have to use it.
I'm hoping not,
Yes.
but we'll be ready.
Right.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, back to the council for a vote on order number 149. Councilor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin?
Aye.
Councilor Domingue?
Aye.
Councilor McGowan?
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. The motion passes 6-0. Councilor Higgins, can I have you read order number 150?
Yes, Madam Chair. Order number 150, 2021. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
If it can't be.
Order 150, 2025, providing for approval of agreement with Millinocket Memorial Library to provide library and community services to the town of Millinocket. it is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council grants approval to enter into the attached agreement with the Millinocket Memorial Library to provide library and community services to the town of Millinocket, with said agreement to be effective from 1 July 2025 and remain in effect for a period of 1 year until June 30, 2026, at a contracted rate of $150,000 in fiscal year 2026.
Motion made by Council Higgins,
Second.
seconded by Council Dume. Council comment on the order? Council Pelletier.
I'm reiterating that as library report. I think it was very detailed. Well, that's best. But my side, and but how we neglected to resolve this at budget time and go for the level of funding. I really think it's a disservice not to try to get on board. Low increase for a minimal amount that they are requesting, the 6%. When I look at the amount of money they're asking for, or we're asking for, you're talking 0.8% of our unfunded, undesignated fund, and well, comparison more than anything on order that 3 times that I don't have that. We have a good balance there. There's no reason why they couldn't come out of that if you don't want to be affecting the taxes. Most people who don't value the library don't in their tax for. So I'd like to make a motion to amend this contract, just change the amount, $135,000. There's no second, it's still down.
Second. Motion to amend, made by Councilor, Pelletier. It was seconded by Councilor McGowan.
Yeah. From them thinking, 25,000.
Do we go right to, remind me,
I think we
do we
did.
go right to a vote, or we discuss?
There's no
There's
discussion
no discussion.
on the amendment.
So we need to make, we now need a vote on the amendment, that would make. vote on-
Did you say discussion on the amendment?
Discussion.
There's no, say that again?
There's discussion on the.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you just said the other. I'm sorry, appreciate you.
I think the case has been well made, go by increase. Well, really,
Should increase it.
I'd like to hear something.
Yeah. So we had a motion and a second, the other discussion on increasing it to 175,000 in this contracted year, 1-year contract.
And you would like to hear the reasons why not?
Why not?
So council comment on why not to increase it 175?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Councilor Higgins.
Yes, I understand that it seems like it's minimal, $25,000. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Okay. But there's also a lot of stuff, and you see how it's going over for the next couple of years, projecting out, and she was going to, let me go back to her sheet.
I can't hear
You're
it.
cutting out.
Yep, nope, I'm jigging out the paperwork from her presentation. So they wanted to keep going out to 2030 at being 275,000. I know 25,000 isn't a whole lot, and they, don't get me wrong, they do one hell of a job for the community. I do not dispute that at all. But with so many things up in the air right now, and then we've also got to look at, we're still waiting to hear from something happen up on the old mill site. We got major projects that'll be coming up. You've got the airport. You've got Bates Street. So there's a lot that's going to be coming out over the next couple of years. And with a lot up in the air right now, with all the federal fundings and everything, I can't go with it.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Counselor Dume.
Oh, I was trying to hear,
Oh.
but yes, I'll defer if any other counselor has a comment.
Counselor Pelletier.
Well, regarding what's up in the air, I don't know if that can take a tour with the One North location, see what's going on. Within 2 years, 2 of the corporations that are up there working now, Biofuel and Cementar, should be producing. And that would certainly bring in tax dollars to, and take care of any bonding that we have coming up. So I don't see those as any valid reason why we can't. As you said, give minimal amount now. And we're talking 5 years into the future, different councils may feel different and they may not have. That's just their goal.
Counselor Dume.
Thank you. Councilor Pelletier, you shocked me. A, you want to dip into the unassigned fund balance, and that's generally not you. And 2, you stole one of my lines of not wanting to commit to other councils. So you kind of floored me twice. I'll speak to my part of the discussion. So back when we held an executive session, I won't speak on anything else, but what I was in favor for was a multi-year contract with the caveat of flat this year and raising it to 175 next year, or whatever the increase was that we were discussing. That's what I would be in favor for, and that's what I was going to suggest for an amendment. So to dip into the unassigned fund balance again at 175, I still would personally like to see us flat on that this year and commit to it next year, because that's when we are pie in the sky. Hopefully the new businesses will be here, as you alluded to, up on the One North site. We'll be more prepared for that instead of, like I said, dipping into the unassigned fund balance. So I mean, if that is acceptable, then I would, after this motion either resolves or doesn't resolve, that's what I would propose if that is a more favorable. But my thing was flat this year. I am for a multi-year contract, just flat this year, increase next year.
Can I respond to that? I know something,
Absolutely.
yeah, some of the conversation was potentially around a 2-year contract flat this year, up to 175,000 next year. The concern was that up to 175, that we wouldn't get to 175, that there might be, it might stay flat next year, or just maybe a smaller increment. You're saying you would be willing to put it in writing that it goes up to 175 next year.
Had I been, yeah, and which I think is what I said in that
Anyway.
session. So
Not to talk outside of,
no, I'm saying what I said. I'm not divulging what other people have said. I'm saying that I would have been in favor for an increase next year, and that's all I was asking. Is flat this year, then increase. Yes, I know the discussion's probably up to, but even if it was at that cap of 175, that would have been what I would have been comfortable with. So I hope that answers your question.
so if we go back to the motion on the table, it is to amend this particular 1-year contract so that it reaches the 175,000.
Sorry, Madam Chair, if Council Pelletier would rescind his motion, and if he's in favor of the motion that I just was going to present, then
I would assume we go through with this amendment and see it fail if it does. And then I'm happy to
Absolutely.
vote for your amendment.
absolutely.
Madam Chair, can I vote?
Mr. Manager, yeah.
Without a drafted 2-year
Yeah.
contract, I don't recommend voting for a 2-year contract. I mean, you all hear me say it like a broken record.
I agree.
My financial concerns as the administrator of the town's finances are separate from my personal beliefs. Right? But Diana, correct me if I'm wrong. We can't necessarily vote on a contract that doesn't exist in the month. Do you feel differently? Or,
Come to the mic, please.
yeah, I mean,
We just
if it's
short.
something that
Yeah,
could be phrased to be drafted and authorized.
Let's finish this conversation right here, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tweaks being discussed would be very minimal. The length of the contract and the amounts in question. And the biggest thing for us is we didn't like the language of up to, or as the budget allowed, you know, we wanted a contract to be a binding contract. And so that was our biggest concern. And if that's not a part of the language, then we are 100% supportive of that.
So if your motion were to include the wording to edit the contract to include those terms before executing, then that could work. Diana and I can work together to just add those few simple lines of it. And take care of that at the administrative.
Councilor Pelletier, before we make an,
Like, would it be possible to have bird can now? Or wait, when they,
No, you can approve that now. If you move with that language to amend not just the order, but the contract related to the order to have those points addressed before we sign. It doesn't have to come back to the council on the day.
But to answer Councilor Pelletier's question, we would prefer to pass a contract now versus later. Simply because it's a little bit exhausting to make this case over and over again, you know, for you, for me. And I feel like we've put the information out there in a really good way right now. So that would be our preference.
do I have any feedback from the other councilors? Councilor McGowan?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm a little confused then, because I mean, I fully support the library. I thought the reason we were at where we're at was because the majority of the council was against a long-term contract. Now I'm hearing differently. So that just kind of confuses. Where, you know, nobody wanted to do the 5-year contract, or the majority didn't want to do the 5-year contract, so that's how we got back, kept getting back down. So I guess I'm confused, because now it sounds like it doesn't sound that way, so, yeah, go ahead.
it's just that for the budget, same as we have budgeting for the nonprofit, knowing they have more than 1 year is better.
No, I understand that. And I was for their multi-year contract. But my understanding was the majority of the rest of the council was not.
No.
Now,
I don't know.
I'm hearing different things, so I'm just a little confused.
Madam Chair?
People.
Councilor Higgins on Zoom, yes?
Yes, yes, originally it started out as them wanting a 5-year, and we did propose going lessening that up to 3 years, and then I honestly was shocked when it came back where they only wanted to go with a 1-year contract. I was shocked. So the 1-year contract didn't come from the direction of us being on that committee.
Given the thing, library. Here.
I can't hear Council Pelletier. He's breaking up.
Yeah, so so I know the 1 year was to secure the flat funding and then, it'll come back in the next budget season, so we could ask for the increases and then look forward. So it was, the 1 year was just to solidify what we already had in in our budget, our current budget. And just make that formal and for them to continue to show the services they have. But, this is more favorable, obviously, if we have a multi-year, then we have an increase so that we can get to their 5-year.
And on the point of the current budget, at that time, it was left that we would have a contract that had favorable terms.
That's right.
And did not turn out, the terms that came out were not favorable.
Councilor Mackin, do you have any comments on this? Other than your.
Sorry.
I'll hold off. Okay. So from, to move forward.
Public discussion on the amendment.
Public discussion on it. Very good. All right. We'll move to public discussion. Thank you.
Hi, Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset Drive. I agree with Councilor Pelletier that it should be raised. I'm looking at order 152, and it appears that the town manager and the council has no objection to using fund balance for anything else. And so I think the library is very deserving of the additional 25,000. Thank you.
So, any other public comment?
Scott Levitt, 330 Congress Street. As Councilman Walpole said, this is confusing now. I'm looking at, is this a year? You've got to cut into the budget. Is this 150,000 is going to be added to the budget?
No.
It's already in the.
So that's already
It's already
included. So all you're going to do is try to increase it by 25,000.
Correct.
Okay, I was just figuring that this is already included, that we're not taking 150, 175,000 and we're just gonna raise tax. So it's all in the bundle.
The 150 currently is already in the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Just to point out, 25,000 would be coming in.
Right, out of there,
So it wouldn't be out of taxes.
right. Thank you.
So to bring it back to the council, Councilor Dume had suggested that he would have an amendment that perhaps would be favorable, but it would mean that you rescind your initial amendment. Is that how you want to go?
No, I don't want to rescind. I want us to go through the step.
Go through the steps. Okay.
If I get turned down, I get turned down. Which is fine, because
Call for a vote.
hoping for the next one. Next amendment.
Great. So we had Councilor Higgins call for a vote. We would need a second.
Second.
No, I don't think you do.
You do.
No.
To call for a vote.
Yeah.
To end discussion.
Right.
So, yeah, so we're gonna end discussion and we're gonna vote on the motion made by Councilor Pelletier to amend the current order to read that it would be a contracted rate of 175
Exactly.
instead of 150
Still for 1 year.
for 1 year.
That's what,
We haven't got,
yeah,
yes, and designating the 25,000 to the unassigned.
that's the current amendment, yeah.
So all those in favor of the order as amended. Councilor Higgins, how do you vote?
Nay.
Councilor Pelletier,
Aye.
Councilor Mackin,
Aye.
Councilor Dume,
Nay.
Councilor Ballin.
Aye.
Jane.
Madam Chair, you?
Yeah, so it comes, So I vote nay. So as is 3-3, so as a tie, it votes down. So that motion is defeated.
Right.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend the order and the contract. I'm just gonna speak in terms of my intent, and I'll let the administration team work with contract. So it reflects the nature in which I say this in. I would like this to be a 2-year contract. First year being this year, at the budgeted 150,000. And next fiscal year being 175,000, not up to.
Second,
So motion made by Counselor Dume, seconded by Counselor Higgins. To amend
Discussion.
order number 150, yeah. Now we will go to council discussion, the amended order. Is there any Counselor Pelletier?
Well, I'll certainly vote for that.
Any public comment on the order? On the amended, yeah, the order as amended.
I would like to briefly, if Ms. Furcauer would like to speak to this, would. Your thoughts?
Okay, let's vote on the amendment.
Yeah.
Order.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up this motion, and we are supportive of a multi-year contract, whether it be 2, 3, or more. I understand it's hard to make those multi-year commitments, but yeah, we would be in favor of that.
Any other public comment? So we'll bring it back to the council to vote on the amendment to the order, and the amendment as put forward by Councilor Dume is now a 2-year contract. We're amending the contract to be a 2-year. For the first year, stays flat at 150, and the second year would be increased to 175. So we're going to take a vote of the council on the amendment to the order.
And also, yes.
And to adjust the contract. Thank you. Counselor Higgins,
aye.
Counselor Pelletier,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin.
Aye.
Counselor Dume,
Aye.
Counselor McLaughlin.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, it passes. The amendment passes 6-0. So now we're going to vote on the order as amended.
Good.
Counselor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Pelletier,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin,
Aye.
Counselor Dume, Counselor McLaughlin.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye. The order as amended passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you for helping me through that process.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is what democracy looks like.
Hey, Bernie.
That's the way it's supposed to work.
thank you. So that takes us to order number 151. How about Counselor Dume? Would you read that for us?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair. Order number 151-2025, providing for approval of mutual aid EMS agreement with Medway Fire Department. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the attached mutual aid EMS agreement with Medway Millinocket Fire Department, and authorizes the town manager and fire chief to execute said agreement.
Second,
Motion made by Counselor Dume, seconded by Counselor Higgins. Go ahead, Counselor Dume, for any comments on this order?
Thank you. I'll keep mine brief. Since I was chairman 2 years ago, this is one of the kind of main goals that I wanted to see was all of these mutual aid contracts actually in writing. And thank you, Chief. I think this is probably the last one. I mean, we got a good one with the county. We've got a good one with East Millinocket now. Now we got a good one with Medway. It's batting 1,000. So good job. And thank you for you and the administrative team for putting these contracts together. Appreciate it.
Any other council comment? Any public comment? Back to the. Okay, thank you,
Public.
the manager.
So this. Medway doesn't currently have an
Ambulance.
EMS ambulance service, so what I want to make sure people know is that this is a requirement for their current application process they're going through, Maine EMS, to establish their own ambulance department. So if that is approved and they do get their own ambulance department, then this will take that. Currently, there's no department to do that.
Appreciate the clarification. Council Pelletier?
I've just got a question regarding mutual aid, how it works with Medway. Given if they do get their service up, they'll have one ambulance. How do they render mutual aid and leave their town not covered?
Do you want us, we can't necessarily speak to how their government operates, and
Well, I'm just wondering,
administers their departments.
mutual. We give, we don't get. But no, I
Again, like I said,
understand why we want to do it.
There's no department currently, it's part of their application process, and
Yeah.
we certainly want to support them through that, however we can.
Someday
We can't
I have
speak
two
to
ambulances.
front their departments.
Thank you. Chief, did you want to comment or not? I know you were hedging there, I'm just not sure.
Cody, Fire Chief.
Yeah.
So, great point you're bringing up, that's a question that always comes up anytime, that these contracts are, mutual aid is supposed to be mutual, right? So we have 3 ambulances, they should have 3 ambulances to provide. Right now, they have the one ambulance that they're using right now as a first responder unit. There's talk that they're gonna be getting another unit as well, so. I think, it's gonna be more on our end, helping them with ALS intercept. Then coming up here for calls, so again, this is just something to get them people to like. So
Get them off the ground.
get them off the ground, absolutely. So any service who could respond down there to Midway for mutual aid, such as East Millinocket, or the neighbor and other departments around with ambulance services, they're asking for the same thing as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, public comment? So we'll take it back to a vote on order number 151. How do you vote, Councilor Higgins?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin?
Aye.
Councilor Dumeay?
Aye.
Council McGowan? Aye. Chair Dippel, aye. The motion passes 6-0. Councilor McLaughlin, can I have you read order number 152?
Order number 152-2025, providing for adjustments to the FY 25 municipal budget. Whereas the town manager and town treasurer request these adjustments to be made to the FY 25 municipal budget in preparation for year-end activity. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the budget adjustments listed below. 2,500 from undesignated fund balance to 0109-4001 audit report. 14,500 from UFB to 0112-1112 computer report. 4,000 from UFB to 0112-2057 computer network and licenses. 900 from UFB to 0206 2016 EV charger electricity. 9,000 from UFB to 0206 4401 hydrant rental. 950 from UFB to 0209 4201 property insurance. $22,060 from UFB to 0209 4202 fleet vehicle insurance. 3,510 from UFB to 0209-4203 general liability insurance. 2,200 from UFB. Not UDF.
Yeah, there's a little.
To 0209-4208 public officials insurance. 10,850 from UFB to 0209-4209 employment practices liability insurance. 2,000 from UFB to 0815-3701 general assistance rent. $320 from UFB to 0816-4043 donation. 5,120 from UFB to 1002-4030 rec department fertilizer and seed. 2,800 from 0103-0420 elections part-time to 0104-2019 clerk's office supplies, and 1,000 from 0104-2019 election maintenance to 0104-2019 clerk's office supplies.
Second.
Who made that? Was that him? I couldn't, it was so loud. Motion made by Council McGowan, seconded by Council Pelletier. Council comment on this order? Any public comment on the order? Well, I guess this is just end of year business. We needed, as stated here, is there anything that you would like to thank the manager? The need to do this reconciliation? General comment.
You know, so as stated in my manager's report before the financial,
Mhm.
you know, a major majority of this is increases that occurred throughout the year that, you know, were unexpected, you know, insurance increase, hydrant rental increase, you know, the audit increase. There were many things, you know, on this list outside of our control, and, you know, so this once annual budget adjustment order is new to the way that the town of Millinocket approaches this. Years, the practice had always been to adjust or request authorization to adjust those lines as they came up. And during during the audit process, it makes much more difficulty when you're you know, sifting through hundreds of orders from throughout the year to find all of the individual budget adjustment. So this is the same process in a different way, right? You know, there's much more of a spotlight on it because there are many adjustments in one. But you know, it's common practice, and in the terms of efficiency and cleanliness of the approach for the federal audit process, this is far better. So, you know, again, outside of our control, increased efficiency and you know, what is being transferred out is only a portion of what we confidently expect to be feeding in. So, you know, absolutely no concern whatsoever.
Thank you. Public comment? Come to the. Identify yourself.
Cody McEwen, A1 Golden Street, also your recreation director. I just wanted to touch on the fertilizer and seed one. We did work and still we renewed our proposal with Green Thumb. We had to reduce that proposal about $2,000. That still holds true even with this adjustment. What this does, at least on the rec side, is we would approach the budget, and then they would historically overspend the budget by a couple grand to take care of the spring maintenance. The proposal runs from spring to fall with Greentown. So what this actually does is it's a one-time fixes the problem essentially, but it will still stay true into next year. Now will actually give us the funds in the spring to take care of essentially the new proposal. Assume that the proposal doesn't dramatically increase, but this helps take care of that offset that we would face every year.
Where are you using the services? Just specifically, what fields are you using the services for?
In the rec complex, baseball field, softball field, Delahanty. Same, as we have been doing, but this essentially shifts that budget into the spring, in theory, instead of overrunning the budget every year. This will help in the future for future budgets. Thank you.
Any other comment? Seeing none, we'll take it back to the council for a vote on order number 152. Councilor Higgins, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin?
Aye.
Councilor Dumeay?
Aye.
Councilor McGowan? Aye. Chair Danforth, aye. The motion passes 6-0. Councilor Mackin, can I have you read order number 153, please?
Order number 153-2025. Providing for approval of street and parking lot closures for July 4th of July celebrations and bandstand jam concert series. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorize the following street and parking lot closures listed below for the town's 4th of July celebrations and bandstand jam concert series. Penobscot Avenue from Central Street to Cotton Avenue, including all other street entrances to Penobscot Avenue. Friday, July 4th, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. parade. Veterans Park Bandstand parking lot, Friday, July 4th, 6 a.m. to Saturday, July 5th, 10 p.m. activities in Veterans Park. Poplar Street from Penobscot Avenue to Cotton Avenue, Friday, July 4th, 6 a.m. to Saturday, July 5th, 6 p.m. activities in Veterans Park. Veterans Park and Bandstand parking lot, Wednesday, July 9th, 4 p.m., 10 p.m. vendors and performance by 195th Army Band. Veterans Park Bandstand parking lot, all Fridays, July 18th through September 12th, 4 to 10, Bandstand Jams Concert Series. 4th of July Parade, lineup, 9:30 a.m. at Northern Shopping Plaza. Tractor Supply parking lot, kickoff at 10 a.m. and route down Central Street to Penobscot Avenue and at Veterans Park.
Second. Motion made by Councilor Mackin, seconded by Councilor McLaughlin. Council comment on this order?
Yes.
Councilor Dumeay?
Thank you, Council Mackin, for reading all of that. I think it was very important, and I was gonna have it suspended, but well, no, it's important because the chamber's website lists everything a day. No, I'm reading it. And I was asked a whole bunch of times, how come the town, and I had to clarify, I had to go research it myself. So the dates that you see in this order are actually correct. The chambers are set a day in advance, so they're thinking Thursday is the 4th, Friday is the 5th. So there is a bunch of confusion out there for those of you who are reading the chamber's website. Unfortunately, hopefully somebody can help get that corrected.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, flyers coming out, okay. Other than that, I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday for the 4th of July. It's a great day to get with your families and celebrate and do all the things that families like to do together, so that's all I have.
Councilor Pelletier, you have a comment?
Yes, I'd just like to say that reminiscing to my youth, I'm very happy to see some extended band use there during the summer. I'd like to see it all even more than that, but it's great.
You. Yeah, and thank you to the events committee and the chamber, I'm gonna say the events committee, and Tom for taking care of all the needed closures and getting us ready for the upcoming 4th of July celebration. No other comments, we'll vote. Yes, we have a comment from the manager. Thank you. Go for it.
Thanks for noticing Bandstand Jams part. And, yes, so that, we're very excited. The Schedule will be coming out very soon. That is actually entirely funded outside of our budget by a Maine Arts Commission grant that, our community initiatives director applied for and received, to, be able to afford to bring, very talented and impressive groups to perform here in Milwaukee and bring life to the what used to be the street dances, which I grew up going to and was inspired as a musician to play and gig. So yeah, a lot more to come on that. Schedule will be out hopefully within the next week or so.
And as you just made mention, this order doesn't just cover the 4th of July, it goes into, it says all Fridays, July 18th through September 12th. That was part of the bandstand parking lot. Yeah, covers a lot of that.
If I may.
Yes, please.
I believe every Friday has been. Correct.
That's correct.
So just so you know, it's already been.
Yeah, the schedule just needs to be final commitment, I think.
Very good.
Yesterday.
Curiosity.
There it is. Good.
And I'm talking really talented. Man.
So, yeah.
Never experienced.
Will. Be there, be square. Okay, so let's vote on order number 153. Counselor Higgins,
Aye.
Counselor Pelletier,
Aye.
Counselor Mackin. Aye. Counselor Dume.
Aye.
Counselor McGowan.
Aye.
Chair Danforth, aye, that passes 6-0. Counselor Pelletier, can I have you read order number 154?
For sure. Order 154-2025, providing for approval of street closures and detour for Maine Water Company project.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to suspend all the reading of the whereases and skip to the it is ordered.
I'll second that.
We can skip that, but I'm gonna have the manager speak.
Oh, I see. Okay. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the closures of Central Street from Aroostook Ave to Highland Ave and Penobscot Ave from Spring Street to Summer Street during the evening of July 8th, 2025 into the morning of July 9th, 2025. With the understanding that if the weather conditions deter this project from beginning July 8th, it will likely begin July 9th. And this approval will be reflective of the date the work is performed. It is further ordered that the attached detour route is approved. Note, the Maine Water Company expects this work to be completed in one night and through their communications with MDOT. And Harry, I can skip a note. Thank you.
He's going to speak to us.
You have a second. Motion made by Council Pelletier, seconded by Council McGowan. Yeah, and I'd like, Mr. Manager, I'd like you to read. Talk about this order, what's going on with the Maine Water Company and the need for the closure. Yes.
During a recent project with the water company, a little further down on the house, was some damage that occurred. You can likely notice the consistent pool of water that is in that intersection. There's leaking about half a gallon roughly, I think. So in order to fix that, they need to dig the entire intersection and then have repairs made to the infrastructure for the beacon. In order to do that with less impact to the community and traffic, they chosen to have that design worked out in a big time until after the 4th of July festivities to receive the materials and all that jazz. And then they have work scheduled to take place overnight and in the wee hours of the morning a detour, temporary detour. So they've been great, the new regional, I forget his title, project manager, I'm gonna call him. Jay Hayes, has been awesome about, improving communication around these projects and meeting stuff. We've been, talking and meeting pretty regularly over the past month. And with other department heads that are involved in this stuff, so, I have all the faith, in them that's necessary and hopefully it'll be a one night success.
Yeah, and we look forward to all the communication to the public, so they're aware of the closing ahead of time, so we've got time to. Thank you. Any other council comment on this order? Any public comment on the order? Back to the council for a vote on order number 154. How do you vote, Councilor Higgins?
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier?
Aye.
Councilor Dumeay?
Aye.
Councilor. Aye. Councilor McGowan? Aye. Chair Danforth, aye. That passes 6-0. Takes us into reports and communications, warrant committee for the next council meeting. We'll check with Councilor Bragdon and it's myself. I do not have a chair committee report. So we'll take us right into the 2-minute public comment. If there's anybody in the public that wants to make a comment, come to the podium. May do so now.
Anybody?
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 Yeah, go ahead and state your name and your address, please.
69 Congress Street. So I came before you guys, last meeting and, touched on the ordinance, the marijuana ordinance. I was wondering if it's been looked into at all, or has there been any progress made on it?
I don't we've not completely rewrite that at this point. And feel free to call or visit, email me at the office too for any sort of updates like that. Way be interested in getting some input from. So that's somewhat of a statement conversation. But no, that project is led by a counselor who's not present at the moment, but it is something that we expect to be able to complete pretty soon. Can't give you a deadline on it yet, but it is coming.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming forward. I know I've been on vacation, haven't had a chance to talk with Councilor Bragdon's not here, and I know that manager's going on vacation, so it might be a little bit hit or miss. You're still on our radar.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Dumeay, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. All those in favor of adjournment, Councilor Higgins.
Aye.
Councilor Pelletier.
Aye.
Councilor Mackin. Aye. Councilor Dumeay.
Aye.
Councilor McGowan. Aye. Chair Danforth, aye. Passes 6-0. It is 7:14, Madam Clerk. We are adjourned.